Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Defense Minister Wayne Sturge says the government will reintroduce the Zone of Special Operations Bill and insists it will pass even without opposition support. Speaking during yesterday's debate on the extension of the state of emergency in the Parliament, Sturge said the legislation would return to the House and dismissed suggestions that amendments would be considered. He added that the measure would pass regardless of resistance from the opposition. Yeah, but Sturge, try to make a little sense now. But this, you're not going to have any amendments whatsoever that were suggested by the opposition. How are you expected to pass in the Senate? Can you explain that? Because it has to be that something is going to change, which will either probably take away the requirement of it having a special majority to be able to pass in both the House and the Senate. That means you will need to change remove certain clauses or whatsoever. Or you're just spinning top and mud, because what are you going to do? How it is you're going to convince the independent senators in the Senate, in the upper house, to change their mind, Wayne Sturge? What's really going on with you, my brother? On Friday, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Ravi Ratiram delivered remarks at the opening ceremony of the Faculty of Food and Agriculture Research Day 2026 at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus, emphasizing the vital role of research, innovation, and strategy collaboration in shaping the future of agriculture amid climate volatility and growing food security challenges. Yes, people, we need to become much more self-sufficient when it pertains to food, even though we are a tiny island. Minister Ratiram highlighted the importance of climate-smart agriculture, data-driven policy making, and youth engagement. Get the youth involved in agriculture business as critical pillars for transforming the sector. He also underscored the government's commitment to reducing Trinidad and Tobago's food import bill. Yes, people say, but we are a small island. Yes, but we still have enough land to be able to cultivate our food, to be able to at least sustain our own people, and maybe just have enough to export as well, especially when it pertains to cocoa. Noting that a key strategy of the ministry is expanding local production of soya beans and corn for poultry feed, as well as black-eyed peas. I love black-eyed peas. I love a wonderful black-eyed peas cook-up. The number one legume used in the national school feeding program. In an effort to strengthen coordination within Trinidad and Tobago's cybersecurity framework, Ministry of Homeland Security and Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, TAT, signed a memorandum of understanding on Friday. Now, this is good news and this is good work. And as much as I honestly do not believe that Roger Alexander is suitable, I honestly don't believe he's suitable for the role of Minister of Homeland Security, this is still good news. Give credit when credit is due, even if you don't really have confidence in the person themselves or himself.
On behalf of the Ministry of Homeland Security, again, we appreciate any person, any organization, any institution that is willing to work alongside us for a better Trinidad and Tobago.
Minister of Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence, Dominic Smith, said the MOU is part of a whole-of-government approach and is an important step in a broader national strategy to modernize the country's cybersecurity architecture.
Cybersecurity is a large challenge, not only for Trinidad and Tobago, not only for small island developing states, but quite frankly, we are facing the risks associated with cybersecurity and cybercrime, as well as all other nations across the globe. So this is a significant step, but I want to endorse the Minister of Homeland Security and what he said. This is about collaboration. This is about stakeholder involvement. This is about having conversations that are important and having it with the subject matter experts.
The Trinidad and Tobago Cybersecurity Incident Response Team is responsible for national cybersecurity situational awareness and incident response, while TAT serves as the regulatory authority for the telecommunications sector. Ayana Carter, TTT News.
It was an impressive debut for Trinidad and Tobago senior women's forward Aaliyah Prince, who who scored 2 goals on a Women's League Football Wolf debut for AC Port of Spain. After AC Port of Spain's 3-1 win over the University of Trinidad and Tobago UTT, the forward spoke about a performance and about TNT's home CONCACAF women's qualifier match against El Salvador on April 17 at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. Let's hope and pray that we could get a little win and feel a little nice. We hardly ever get any chances to qualify any sorts of international events or regional events. So I wish them all the best on the April the 17th. I hope they win that match.
Aaliyah Prince made an impressive debut for her new club, AC Port of Spain, scoring 2 goals in the team's win over UTT on Sunday. Port of Spain still have work to do as they look like a team that needs to gel with all the new talent coming in. A shift in tactics for the second half, or maybe not, paid dividends with Prince playing a more direct role. She spoke on it.
I think in the first half we were just a little anxious to play the ball. The coach told us to take our time and just play the football because we had everything under control, so we just came out and did it.
The Mova native also touched on the national team efforts, firstly with last week's World Cup qualifier away to Honduras.
In the Honduras game, we drew the game 2-2. I find it was an exceptional performance. She came back from first half, we was 2-0 down. We came back and get 2 goals in the second half to draw the game, and that's the point we needed.
The former Defence Force player who turned 25 last month made a call for support as they prepare to face El Salvador in their final group qualifier.
We have one more game against El Salvador here in Trinidad and Tobago on the 18th of April, and we hope to see you all there just to give us that support.
Yes, we will be there on Friday, April 17th at 6 p.m. at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, a place in the final 8 World Cup qualifiers at stake. But first, AC Port of Spain are scheduled to travel to the Mahaica Oval this Saturday for a 4 p.m. kickoff against Point Fortin Pioneers. Wayne Cunningham, TTT Sport.
For Sunday, March 15, 2026, Trinidad and Tobago can expect generally fair but breezy conditions interrupted by partly cloudy intervals and isolated showers with temperatures around 30 degrees Celsius, 31 degrees Celsius. Conditions, mostly sunny and breezy with brief cloudy periods and isolated showers. Temperatures, maximum temperatures around 31 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 30 degrees Celsius in Tobago. Evening/night, generally fair with few lingering showers. Winds, breezy with gusts possible near showers. Marine alert, a yellow level hazardous seas alert takes effect at 6 p.m. for northern and eastern exposed coastlines of both islands. Waves in open waters are expected to be moderate 1.5 to 2.0 meters.
Regional news now. Emergency services in St. Anne and St. Mary in Jamaica have been boosted with a donation of 2 buses to the fire department. The vehicles, which cost $16 million, were donated by Sandals Jamaica Resort and were handed over during a ceremony on Friday at the Port Maria Fire Station in St. Mary. Jamaica needs as much support and donations as possible. Don't lend them, give them. Local government minister Desmond McKenzie welcomed the donations of the vehicles, which are to be retrofitted to ambulance status by the ministry. McKenzie said the vehicles will help to preserve lives and improve the capacity of the Jamaica Fire Brigade to respond to emergencies. The direct deposit of $100,000 cash grant into beneficiaries' bank accounts forms part of the government of Guyana's broader push to promote a more digital and financially inclusive economy. Just please don't get rid of cash. We are in the end times, and a cashless system is all part of the Antichrist sort of agenda. So please don't do that. This is according to Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, who during an interview aired on the Department of Public Information on Friday, signaled the government's preference to deliver the cash support through digital channels using existing payment systems rather than relying on physical checks and in-person distribution as was done previously. Some 50,000 central government employees who receive their monthly salaries via bank deposits will be the first to receive their cash grants next week. But if somebody doesn't have a bank account, how are they going to receive their cash grant? So this time around, we are going to be prioritizing payments through bank accounts. So it doesn't seem as though it's only through bank accounts though, because we want to make it as seamless and as smooth and as efficient and easy as possible, the finance minister said. Marines to return home from deployment to Haiti. Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marines who were on deployment in Haiti as part of the United Nations Authorized Gang Suppression Force returned home yesterday evening to joyful embraces from loved ones. Thankfully, it seems as though, well, at least I'm hoping so, all returned home alive and safe, not just some. And that is wonderful news. And it's also good to hear that something is being done on an international scale to restore some type of law and order in Haiti.
As we honor their return. And now, all the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. Let us pray.
International news now, historic return. The American flag was raised at the U.S. Embassy in Caracas on Saturday for the first time since 2019. Exactly 7 years after it was lowered, the U.S. Embassy team announced. The official went on to say a new era for U.S.-Venezuela relations has begun. And as I said in my other news report, this is what this is the right way to do things, people. Unlike the PNM administration, which was going behind America's back and making deals with the Maduro administration, Kamala Persad decided that, you know what, if I have to give up the Dragon gas deal in order to continue remaining in a good relationship with the United States of America, then so be it. She took the right, she decided to stand up with our greatest democratic ally, our greatest trading partner, and the only country that is willing and able to protect our country in case of an invasion from Venezuela ever took place, or any other communist country in the world. And this is really wonderful news, because you know why? Now we are going to reap the benefits of this restoration of diplomacy between America and Venezuela. We will benefit with the Dragon gas deal and other energy deals that we would have been seeking with Venezuela, because we are going through the right channels, the diplomatic channels. And therefore, we wouldn't have to face sanctions, and Venezuela wouldn't have to face sanctions. Left up to PNM, we might have been already under sanctions if it is that they won the elections on April 28th last year. Satellite analysis by Oregon State University shows widespread structural damage across Iran since the start of the U.S.-Israel war. Major damage clusters in Tehran and Shiraz. 40+ structures damaged in Bandar Abbas, home to a key naval base near the Strait of Hormuz. That is in order to be able to keep that passageway open and free. Researcher Jamon van den Hoek said, there's really no front line at the moment. Ayatollah is about to collapse, people, and yet fake news media is giving a different story. So there's really no front line at the moment. It's simultaneous damage across different corners of Iran. And once again, it shows clearly, people, that even though it may not be able to completely remove the Ayatollah regime from office without boots on the ground, it's going to be able, it's definitely, this campaign by both the Americans and the Israelis is to ensure that the Ayatollah regime no longer has the capability of targeting Israel, America, and neighboring countries and harming innocent civilians, or even other public or commercial infrastructure and so forth. So even if it is the Iranian regime remains in power, which it doesn't appear that that's going to be the case, but even if they do, they will no longer have the capability to be able to attack anyone, anywhere. On Saturday, as part of the IDF's activity to clear the area of terrorist infrastructure, IDF troops identified an armed terrorist in the Rafah area. The terrorists opened fire at IDF troops, who responded with fire and eliminated the terrorists. No IDF injuries were reported. In addition, yesterday, day before yesterday, actually Friday, the IDF struck and eliminated 2 armed Hamas terrorists in the southern Gaza Strip who pose a threat to the IDF officers or forces. IDF troops in the Southern Command remain deployed in accordance with the ceasefire agreement and will continue to operate to remove any immediate threat. Once again, the entire world will not let you know that is Hamas and Hezbollah and all these other proxies of the Iranian Ayatollah regime. They attack. They're always trying to strike at and attack Israel. And then when Israel responds, the entire world balls genocide. Now for the interesting facts segment, during the challenging Gobi Desert Ultra Marathon, British runner Dion Leonard met an unexpected companion, a tiny stray dog that began running beside him across the harsh desert terrain. The determined pup stayed with him mile after mile, capturing the hearts of runners and spectators. After the race, the dog briefly went missing, sparking a rescue effort that eventually reunited them. It's wonderful that people actually went searching for the animal afterwards. Leonard later adopted her and named her Gobi. Their incredible story of endurance and friendship gained worldwide attention and even inspired a book showing how a chance meeting in the desert became a lifelong bond. They could probably even make a movie out of that. Sounds like a wonderful story.
Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News Travel Adventures. San Diego is a premier Southern California coastal destination known for year-round sunshine, 70 miles of stunning beaches, and a laid-back, welcoming vibe. Famous for its world-class zoo, Balboa Park's museums, historic sites like Old Town and the USS Midway, it offers a perfect blend of outdoor adventure, rich culture, and diverse dining.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe, most of all. In Jesus' name.